Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Thursday on this channel and we have got to talk about Scream 7, some rumors, some news that has been confirmed, and then I'm kind of going to tell you what I think about all the things that we've been hearing. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we have to talk a little bit about the Scream franchise because there has been some news that has come out that has people a little bit worried, but these are still kind of all rumors. And then there has been some breaking news as to what to expect as far as a release date for this film. And we're kind of going to break down everything that has been said. And I'm going to let you know what's kind of a rumor at this point and what is concrete. So first off, we have to talk a little bit about Courtney Cox because Courtney Cox is still rumored not to be in Scream 7. Now this is a bit troublesome because people were expecting her to come back in Scream 7, and if it is a Sydney-centric movie and Sydney is the only one in this, then are they doing away with another legacy character? What is the future of Courtney Cox's character of Gale Weathers? What is the future of Gale Weathers if she's not in Scream 7? Because a lot of people remember hearing that she was working out with Jennifer Aniston, that she was working out for this movie apparently. That was kind of what was being said. And that she wanted to make it look like she was young, like she was doing these stunts herself, like, you know, she wanted to be believable, and she didn't want to come across as helpless in any way. She wanted you to believe that she could actually do the things she's doing, and that was kind of the rumor you were hearing. Well, now all of a sudden, the roundabout town is that she's not even going to be in this movie, or at least hasn't signed yet. And that's what everybody's saying. She hasn't signed yet. So she's not under contract to be in Scream 7, and she hasn't signed on to be in the movie. But I honestly think that this is a rumor at this point. I think it is kind of a given that she's going to be in this movie without a shadow of a doubt. I think what happened here is that she is negotiating far more money, which they will give her more than likely. We're not going to have a repeat of the Sidney Prescott thing with Neve Campbell not getting the money that she was entitled to for being in this movie. I don't think they go down that road a second time, because you remember how that turned out and how everyone sort of was mad and they were like, you should have just given Neve Campbell the money. Courtney Cox knows her worth as well, and at this point it is a matter of her trying to negotiate what is right for her as an actress. So I want you all to take that with a huge grain of salt and not really think that the rumors are immensely true about her not being in this movie and not actually signing it. I think there is a contract negotiation going on. The second thing that we have to talk about is this time jump, because I'm once again hearing that this time jump may not be all it's cracked up to be. Because here's the thing. This movie's definitely going to have a time jump, but how far ahead is this time jump? Is it 3, 4, 5 years? Well, the movie itself is scheduled to kind of be the 30th anniversary film. So it's kind of going to take that, guys. It's been 30 years since the original Scream. And as of 2026, that's exactly what it's going to be. 36 years since this film came out. And that's important because this means that you open up the floodgates for all sorts of crazy things to happen to Sydney that are related to the original Scream film. And I know a lot of people have problems with them going all the way back, and once again, it's Sydney-centric, and oh, it's going to be addressing Sydney's past, and we've seen this, and it's going to be someone close to her and all of this. Well, that's kind of the way this film almost has to go. But given that it is going to be the 30th anniversary of this film franchise, when this movie comes out, it's going to kind of be that 30th anniversary film, then they're probably going to address it as such. The time jump may actually take place, it may actually take us 30 years from when we originally saw the first Scream movie. And that's kind of a big deal, because The sky is the limit as to what they're going to be able to do with that. We also know a release date for this film, and the release date is very important. This movie is actually going to be set for February 27th of 2026. And how do we know this? Well, we we don't, but this has pretty much been confirmed. And the reason this has been confirmed is that Kevin Williamson and Neve Campbell have both started saying this. So that is the date that they are aiming for this movie to come out. Now, of course, we know delays do happen, that it's quite possible that there could be a delay down the line for this reason or that reason. But if they are talking about a February 27th release date, that is definitely going to be what they're aiming for. And that kind of also gives us a timeline. Because this movie is still going to take place during the winter. I mean, sure, they could set it in California. They could set it someplace where there isn't a lot of snow and say it's any time of the year that they want. But we know from Scream 6 that it was close to Halloween, so it only makes sense that whatever time period they are going with, they kind of remain close to that. And with this being a February release, it is quite possible that this is set in the dead of winter and people could actually get that ghost face in the snow chasing that everyone keeps talking about and actually wanting. And I would be 1,000% down for that. But let's kind of break down what could happen with this time jump, because this is important. This whole time jump that they're talking about and it coinciding with the 30th anniversary of the movie is something that I think is going to benefit everything that they're setting up here. With it being a winter film, possibly being something completely different, but also with this being a Sydney-centric film. I do think Courtney Cox will return, and I think that Gale Weathers will play a part in it, whether she plays a big part or not. We could see Gale Weathers kind of taken back just a little bit, maybe even be a victim of Ghostface in this movie, which could be where the contract negotiations are coming up. Gale Weathers could be dying in this movie, and Courtney Cox possibly wants to be paid more if she's not going to be a part of the franchise moving on. And that is entirely possible too. I mean, if you know this is your final film and your death is going to be something that's talked about and really just agonized over for years to come by fans, then yeah, you've earned that right to negotiate your contract more or less because you are one of the legacy characters. So I think what we're seeing with her is sort of dependent on this being the 30th anniversary and Gale Weathers possibly not being safe. But it could also be that this movie is set exactly 30 years later from the original movie. And that could be the reason for the Ghostface killer to come back. Because now would be a perfect time for anything to happen. It could be directly related to the original, i.e., people want Stu back. Sure, they could go that route. It's been a long time since the whole incident that caused them not to bring Stu back in the first place happened in real life. And if you know, you know. So it could happen that way. It would be a good time for them to do that if they wanted to. But this could also be a case of a copycat who celebrates the fact that this has been 30 years and wants to kind of end it once and for all. And yeah, I know the whole franchise continuing storyline has been done. The people wanting to finish what Billy Loomis and the gang started has been done. All of this stuff has been done time and time again. But it is sort of that motive. That is kind of the general motive of Ghostface, is to just continue on the legacy of what Ghostface has done in the past. So every time you're seeing these people and they're saying, oh no, we're going to get another Ghostface who wants to continue the legacy, I see that as kind of the general motive of all of these movies. Whether they are continuing on with Sidney Prescott as a main character or whether you got the Carpenter sisters back and they are the main characters, there's always that continuation of what came before. There's always that Ghostface lives on because others make him a thing. And I think that's very important going forward in this franchise. I think that's something that we have to look at as a reason for this movie to exist. I definitely think that this movie should change it up a little bit, but how do they change it up a little bit? Because you have a Sydney movie, so do you bring back Stu? Do you bring in someone who wants to continue it on by rebooting it? We've seen that. We've done that. It's kind of got to give us something new while following the same formula at this point. Especially if they kind of make it a 30th anniversary movie, like it seems like they might be heading that direction. I think this could be interesting. This could be interesting to see where they go from here, who they bring back, and how they bring this thing to a close. Because the way I see it, 30 years is a good run. And if they end Sidney Prescott's run with this movie and continue on with the trilogy under her kids or something like that, I would be 1,000% down for it. And don't even forget that we're getting ready to have this whole Kirby Reed spinoff. And that could be a thing too. It could continue on from there. Now, I don't want it to be a Saw Spiral type of thing because that really didn't go over very well with fans. A lot of people really didn't like the Spiral movie at all. I personally thought it was a nice jumping off point that they could have done something with, but they sort of dropped the ball. They didn't jump on it right away. They didn't go forward with it. It could have been something that maybe under the right director and writer, you could have seen something evolve. And with the Kirby Reed movie coming up, with the Kirby Reed saga coming up, however they choose to do that, that's going to kind of be that spiral for Scream. And that's troublesome and exciting at the same time. Because sure, it could be a complete flop. They could have one movie and it could be done forever. Or it could be something that works out and fans could appreciate it for years to come. It could start an entirely new Ghostface franchise. But that being said, here's the thing about this. With this setting up 30 years later, I think there's a lot of really cool things they can do. And it's just how do you handle it and make it the same as it always has been, because it has to be the same formula that Scream has followed for this entire time, and yet make it different and exciting to the new fans coming in and the old fans who are enjoying watching these legacy characters. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you. We now have a release date for Scream 7. We know that there is the rumor that Courtney Cox has not signed on yet. And we know that this is going to possibly be a 30-year anniversary type of movie. So what do you think about all this? Does it excite you more? Does it kind of make your excitement less somehow? All right, everybody. As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're definitely going to want to be a part of the conversation as well. And don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel. We really do appreciate it. And then Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.